Are you looking for answers to the unknown? Welcome to Live with medium Lisa Phoenix and step into the magical presence of the metaphysical realm. Lisa will share the wisdom and musings from her own experiences, have intriguing conversations with other mediums and healers, in addition to exploring a wide array of topics and teachings on intuitive and mediumship development. Lisa will be taking your calls and inviting your friends and loved ones in the spirit world to share their stories with us. Raise your awareness as you are reunited on the level of love, and let's go live with medium Lisa Phoenix.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's a great day in Southern California. Welcome to Live with Lisa Phoenix Radio. I'm Lisa Phoenix, your host, a medium and energy intuitive. My show is all about healing, mediumship, and energy management. And my special guest this morning is Tracy Dunblazer, spiritual empath and teacher. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Lisa.
How are you doing today?
I am bright and shiny like the sun.
Awesome. We're going to talk about a variety of topics this morning, including Tracy's going to share a little bit about her new book and the creative process that it took to kind of get to this place. And we're also going to talk about energy management. The station is currently working on the call-in feature for the show. So for now, if you want to share some of your own challenges or ask questions about your own specific journey, please go to my Facebook page, Lisa Phoenix Live, and post your questions, and we'll do our best to address them while we're on the air. If you want further information about the Live with Lisa Phoenix radio show, please visit my page on the OMTimes radio site at omtimes.com/IOM/hosts/Lisa-Phoenix, or you can just go to omtimes.com/IOM, and it's really easy to find. I'd love it if you would go to my website at lisaphoenix.net. That's LISAPHOENIX.net, and sign up for my Intuitive Insights newsletter, which will also add you to my mailing list. And please like me on Facebook at Lisa Phoenix Live. Now, let's talk about Tracy Dunblazer, spiritual empath, shaman, educator, and spiritual counselor, is based in Los Angeles, California. Tracy specializes in grief counseling, energy dynamics, intuitive counseling, shamanic healing, space clearing, past life regression, soul recovery, and transition strategy. In 2005, Tracy founded It's Time to offer resources, education, and strategies for other practitioners, as well as those just embarking on their spiritual path. Tracy's website is www.tracydunblazer, that's TRACEEDUNBLAZIER.com, which I suggest you visit to get a picture of what this amazing woman is all about. And, as I'm reading this, Tracy, I'm thinking to myself, actually, I no longer have to read it. I pretty much have it memorized.
Right.
But I'm thinking we have to add author to this,
Yes, we do. Yes,
so
it's official.
Yes. So go ahead and can you share a little bit and tell everybody about your Kickstarter promo and all that other stuff? I'm not sure when it ends, and I'm pretty sure people still have time to kind of chip in and help.
Yes, they do. The Kickstarter, everybody's familiar with Kickstarter, but the bottom line is so I'm self-publishing a book. It's called 10 Things That You Need to Know to Be a Demon Slayer. And, because I have been blessed with the ability to navigate through many challenges in my own life, I, also know how difficult it is when life-saving answers to personal problems seem out of reach for other people. And so I decided to chronicle the last 20 years of my journey and share it with people all over the world in this book, 10 Things You Need to Know to Be a Demon Slayer. And the book is organized in a very unique way. There's 10 chapters, and it's actually going to be volumes 1 and volume 2. So volume 1, there are 5 chapters, and each chapter begins with a parable. And the parables in the first book are my experiences. They're the stories of my spirit guides and the energies and beings that have helped me in this process of transformation. The second volume, chapters 6 through 10, those parables are about actual past lives that I've experienced, and resurrected and processed out the emotions of those experiences in this lifetime. And so through that, I then talk about I talk about demons and what exactly that is. And I try to cover cross-culturally how many different cultures look at the idea of what a demon is, from the, creepy, scary things from hell, to how we relate to sex, addiction, grief, fear, how we deal with some of those with our shadow self. And so I believe that in this book, there's something for everyone. And it really is, it's meant to really help normalize the experience of not only demonic visitation, but actually the deep, dark spiritual transformation that every human being goes through when they suffer. And I also deal with, things like the spiritual perspective of mental illness and disease, and help people to get just a different, more empowered vantage point on all of those things.
Gotcha. No, and and truthfully, Tracy, just like you said, you explain in your book, seriously, a lot of people, when they hear the word demon, it brings up all kinds of stuff,
It does. Yes, it does. Just really quick, let's have people go to beaslayer.com.
Okay.
Because at beaslayer.com, if you go there, you can click on any page and it'll take you to my Kickstarter. And so that I want people to see the video that I've done, really breaking down the book. And in that video, I talk exactly about what you just said, which is when people hear demon, they're like, yeah, no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks.
Exactly.
Whatever that is, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up.
Exactly. And so, and this book is really meant to give people a different, more empowered vantage. I talk about, people have, what's the word I want? That it's rumored that if you look someone straight in the eye, that their demon can transfer to you, or if they touch you, or that you can catch a demon from somebody. When the bottom line is that when people have demonic experience, it's usually karmic, or definitively related to whatever is currently going on in their life, and that is actually a part of them. What that means is that any energy from another spiritual realm, and that's one of the things I really break down for you, is, what is a ghost? What is a family curse? What is a discarnate? There's each one of those things are different. And so I really break down the definitions and help you really understand not only what they are, but how you're empowered. They're in their own world, and the only way they can come to our world is through our invitation and agreement on some level. And so the only way to get rid of them is to recognize where you're connecting and then upgrade that behavior, thought, or spiritual dynamic.
Okay. And Tracy, I do. What Kickstarter, what is it that you want people to do? And how long do they have? And give us a specific...
Well, either by... starting today, you have 25 days. The Kickstarter ends on essentially, midnight, July 2nd. So 7 a.m. July 3rd is when it officially ends. And I need them to go and donate. If you can donate $5 or $10, or if you can buy the first 2 volumes for $60. And with that, you get some of the artwork in this is spectacular. I've had a world-renowned science fiction and fantasy artist do all of my illustrations, and they're amazing, and he's amazing. So you get also two different illustrations of the characters of your choosing, and or you can buy just volume 1. You can donate $35 and get volume 1, $60 and get volumes 1 and 2, and then if you go $100, you can get all the both volumes plus your choice of postcards and a phone call from me. There's all different kinds. There's 9 different rewards that you can get. And for people out there who are really, usually people who have this kind of connection and affliction oftentimes know other people that do as well. And so if you want to do some fundraising for me and get me to your city, it's $2,500 that you can fundraise, and then I will come out to your city and do a private book signing. So there's a lot of different opportunities, for a couple bucks or a lot of bucks. But whatever you got, I definitely need your help, because this is going to be published in September. And you'll get your books in August. You'll get them before everyone else. So that's going to be very exciting.
Oh, how wonderful. Yes, it is. So please tell everybody where they go again.
Beaslayer.com. www.beaslayer.com. Beaslayer.com. And then that will take you to my Kickstarter link. All the information on beaslayer.com leads you to my Kickstarter, where you can make your donation. And it's really, really necessary. I need $9,500. If people don't know about Kickstarter, it's the type of thing where they're going to take a credit card from you, and you're going to pick whatever reward or non-reward if you just want to make a donation. But they're not going to charge you until the end of the month, only if I've made my goal. So it's only if I raise $9,500 am I going to see a penny of it.
Really?
Yep, really.
That's amazing. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so it's really important that people give, because I really need to make that goal. Otherwise, I don't get any of it, and I'll be sad.
And actually, I don't need you to be specific, but are you doing okay with it?
It's a slow start. It's definitely, I have under 1,000 right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I've been warned that people sometimes, make their donations at the very beginning. You get a little rush, and then you get nothing in the middle, and then at the end, everybody, because when they have 30 days to do it, they're like, oh, I'll do it in a week or two.
Exactly.
I want to wait. I want people to come now.
Exactly. Hey, Tracy, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're heading towards commercial break. Everybody, stay tuned with us. You're listening to Live with Lisa Phoenix on the OMTimes Radio Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio. Energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber for Immersion into Source every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Om Radio.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
So, Tracy, are you still there?
Yes, I am right here with you.
Okay, so we lost the radio station.
Okay.
I think we're back. We're back. So let me just repeat this for all you listeners out there. Sorry, we had a drop off of the station. So we're going to be talking to Tracy about her journey. And we know she already mentioned that she was chronicling the last 20 years or so of her own journey in addition to other things. So, Tracy, why don't we open up this topic because I know fear plays an important thing in all this, you know?
It really does. So, you know, one of the things I tell my whole journey. You know, I became a demon slayer. You know, I became a demon slayer because as a child, I was afflicted and would have demonic dreams and, you know, these energies and entities coming to me and haunting me. And, you know, it was pretty profound. And a part of myself, you know, on some level, I understood what was happening, and on some level, why it was happening. And I knew that I was, you know, intended in this life experience to heal all of those for myself. But, you know, the devil or a demon, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, for me, I call the devil just not in relationship to any religion, but just the all pervasive, you know, antagonist. And
right. I think that's important for people to hear.
Yes. The devil is our illusionary world. It is our energetic world. And when we have fear of it, the devil wants you to be as fearful as possible. And the reason why is because the more fear you have, the less you'll look at it, the less information you'll have, therefore the less empowered you will be. The devil has no power whatsoever if you know what it is, how it works, and what it can look like. If you understand all of those things, then you'll understand what you can do about it, and you won't be afflicted. You can't be afflicted if you have that information. And people don't know that. They don't understand that. They think that their fear protects them, or their, you know, the illusion of, oh, I don't believe in that. Well, just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean it doesn't exist and that it can't hurt you. You know what I mean? And not everybody has, you know, the creepy, you know, guy with the big hood and, excuse me, not everybody has demonic visitation, but some people do.
Right.
You know,
and I just want to throw in here, like you said earlier, the devil can represent, I would think also that shadow side of yourself, do you know, that's hidden.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just saying this because I don't want people to get tripped up, because I bet you everybody didn't go to your website and read all that stuff.
Right.
I just want, devil can be a metaphor, don't you think, for in whatever?
Well, it is the illusionary world, which definitely includes our human duality, you know, our negative thinking, you know, our shadow self, like you said. And it's not so much a metaphor. It's not one thing that represents another. That's just what it is. It's the illusionary world. It's the energetic world that we as human beings are indelibly connected to. Mm-hmm. So they're the spiritual realms.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Gotcha. And again, yeah. I only say metaphor because some people, it's just, they may call it something else.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's just that, as you just described it perfectly. Does that?
Yes. Good. And so, and I really want, you know, the reason why I wrote this book and the reason why I have really been called to gut through my own personal process to be able to put all of this down, you know, on paper. And, you know, I'm very revealing, you know, I didn't really leave any details out. And, you know, that when we were talking about, you know, part of my personal process in doing this book, you know, I got it all out on the paper, and it was a profound thing. I had to really let go of, you know, any insecurity or fear I had of whatever, of what people would think or say or judge. You know, all of those things is definitely part of this, the spiritual process of writing this book. But I did it because people really need to understand that they have the power always in any situation. And that the more you know, the better off you are. Not the less you know, but the more you know.
Right.
People think that walking away from this stuff is the best way to deal with it, but it will always follow you. So, if you walk away, you're only walking away for a period of time until it catches up with you again.
Exactly. It's better to just roll up your sleeves and dive in.
That is exactly it. Roll up those sleeves. That is exactly it.
And so, I don't know, did we want to, what kind of fear and stuff did you experience in your process? I know that's a big question, but,
Well, I think that, I've really been working on this book for a long time, and it's had many different iterations of expression. Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time to realize that part of doing that, because before I just wanted to do, talk about Demons book and a how to and how not to book, but I couldn't really do a how to and how not to book if I didn't include my personal story. And I really struggled with that because I've gone through my story 1,000 times, but really saying how it was and how I saw things, how I experienced things, and the things that happened to me, that was an interesting experience. And that process, Spirit really put it on my heart. It was on my birthday a couple of years ago that no, you need to tell your own story as well. And so when I began that process of, I was completely at peace with my story, but then telling, letting other people fully into that story.
Exactly.
Was a profound experience. So
yeah, I can imagine, because even though you've experienced your story lots and lots of times, we haven't,
Right. Yes. Yes. And I know in my heart that there are, millions of people out there that are like me and have had similar experiences. Maybe they've not had as many, but they've had some similar experiences. And I know that they will see a part of themselves in some of the things that I've written. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted this book to be able to trigger for people their own experiences so that they can deal with their own things.
Exactly. Yes. No, I think that's wonderful. And I also think you bring up a good point, and I think we will be getting a lot of it in your book, is about self-honesty. Yes.
Self-honesty and self-honesty in revealing yourself to others. I mean, that's truly when we see ourselves the clearest is when we see ourselves on other people and we see their responses or reactions to us in a particular way. It really makes you deal with the deeper underlying sense of fear. For me, I've always been really open. I don't have a lot of shame in terms of my life and how I've lived it. But the people that I know that I share, I trust them. But to open up that world to people I don't know,
right?
With the idea of being judged in any way, shape, or form, there's the soft, sensitive part of me that's like, oh,
yeah.
And then there's the other part of me that's like, it's going to be fine. I'm just not going to focus on that. And I'm just going to keep going. And that's one of the things that has really, especially in the last 6 months, as I'm in the process now, I've just finished the final edits for the first 4 chapters, and they've gone to the book designer. And so now it's done. Hands are off of it. You know what I mean? It's going to be chronicled forever and ever exactly as it is, and I can't change it. And that's good. But to get to that place, I literally just had to change where I put my focus.
Exactly. And can you retell everybody, because I'm actually a little confused. I know you said it earlier, but how many volumes is this going to be?
2.
2. So the first volume is chapters
1 through 5, and they begin with a parable of the story of one of my spirit guides.
Gotcha. And the second is 6 through
10.
Gotcha.
And those parables are specifically past lives that I have lived and my healing process of those lives in this one.
Perfect. No, I just got confused with the technical part of all that.
Well, and honestly, it's been in the last 3 months that I recognize that I'm going to have to do 2 volumes because it's, they're each book is about 250 pages.
Yeah. And it's just, knowing you, I also know that it would probably just be too much stuff to be in one, and, let people dig in and then digest and then continue with it.
Yes. And you know what? I'm sure that you'll appreciate this. I've designed the book for somebody like me who has a very short attention span. I'm a daydreamer and a processor. So if I read a paragraph, I want to read it and then I want to go off into my own world and really process what it means for me. And then I want to go back to it and I want to be easily led back to it. And so this book, there's a lot of open space in it. It's very easy to read a paragraph and then do your own process and then come back to it. You can also you don't have to read everything in order. You can just pick a chapter and go with it. The first chapter is all about, what is a demon? What is that? What are they? Where do they live? How did they get here? What is that? And so if that's not really your paradigm and you don't really want to deal with that, then you don't have to. You can go any other chapter and get something else.
Gotcha.
And I wanted it to be that way. I really want people to be able to use this book how they can use it.
Gotcha. And, I actually saw a post that you did and I loved, it almost reminded me of like the little Japanese anime girl in the school uniform.
Yes. Yes, that's Jane Overland. She's actually English. And she came to me in a dream. Mm-hmm. She's one of the guides, but she, unlike the other guides, is an aspect of me. And she came to me literally with that name in a dream, as really my mediator and book author.
Gotcha.
And I thought it was very interesting.
You know what? Hold on to that. We want to hear this story, but let's just wait till we come back from commercial break, so we're not fighting the music. Everybody, You're listening to Live with Lisa Phoenix on the OMTimes Radio Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Hold on one second. Hey. Can I come in at 11 o'clock for a massage?
Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness and action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
back, everybody. You're live with Lisa Phoenix and my special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. Tracy, we left off on a story about one of your guides. So do you want to kind of continue on with that?
Yes, I was talking about Jane Overland. She came to me in a dream. I had been toying with the idea of writing a book. And, everybody in my business at some point, we all joke about, I'm going to write a book. And, today it's so crazy easy to write a book. At least the publishing part of it, comparatively speaking, is pretty easy. But anyway, so she came to me in a dream, and her name was Jane Overland. And she's kind of like the integrated self that I have when I work with clients. So she is definitely my objective overall opinion. She's straightforward, but she's not harsh. She's just straightforward, and she seeks to be lighthearted in addressing difficult subjects. And so in the book, she guides all the different aspects of a person's personality to integration and meeting. One of the things I talk about is the devil. A person can be afflicted by the shadow, by a demon, by an entity when they have aspects to their personality that are disassociated, which means a part of their personality isn't consciously connected to their main altar, and so they can say and do things sometimes that they don't consciously recognize that they say and do, and they have a more difficult time taking responsibility for those things. And oftentimes, people who've experienced traumas in their life or in their childhood will have personalities that will disassociate in order to step forward and protect them. Mm-hmm. And so, so Jane Overland is the character in my book that is the integrator of the personalities. She's the altar that says, you know what, it's safe. Come on in and talk to each other. It's okay to know each other, and use each other for the information that you all have. Everybody has aspects to their personality that glean certain things from them.
Right.
So she gets them all to know each other and to understand and accept each other, and then to be able to utilize each other for the information that they have.
Gotcha.
So that's who she is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now tell us a little bit more about, actually, I kind of want to step off here a little bit. And so you say that each, the other part of the book is about chapters about your guides and your past lives with your guides. Is that?
They're the guides, and then there are past lives.
Gotcha. Well, can you expound a little? Because guides are such a big topic these days with people, and yes. I'd love it if you'd share a little bit about guides and about the whole
Absolutely.
Process.
So everybody has a group of spirit guides, and the spirit guide can be an energy or a being that has incarnated, like, your grandmother who passed away, or, an ancestor of some sort. It can also be a galactic being, like an extraterrestrial from another galaxy or dimension. Sometimes people even have lower vibrational energies, like demonic energies, as guides as well, because you're gonna have a guide that's going to best be able to guide you where you're at and what you're doing, right? And so there are a lot of people in the world that have, let's say our drug dealers of the world. You know what I mean? They're going to have guides that are going to match and navigate match what they most need to navigate in that lifetime. And oftentimes we will, when we go through things in life, sometimes we'll have a guide for a lifetime or several lifetimes, and then sometimes we'll have a guide for a period of time. And it's always up to us. Our guides are energies that will respect and honor our needs and are there to be a benefit to us and to protect us and give us the information and help us to access, in a beautiful way, the information that we need. They're teachers, if you will. They're personal private tutors regarding certain things.
Now, and just our guides are there, whether you realize
whether you deal with them or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to know them. You don't have to like the idea. You don't have to, integrate with them. They're there and they're going to do what they do, and they're going to love you regardless of your participation with them.
Exactly. Now, how, though, would you encourage people who would like to be more aware of their guides in their life?
Well, one of the first things that I always take a client through is the process of figuring out their psychokinetic pull to their guide. Your guide is going to communicate with you energetically. If you are an emotionally open person, they're going to connect to you through your emotions. If you're mainly a physical person, they're going to do what is called a psychokinetic pull, which means they're going to, if you ever felt like that the hair on the back of your neck raise up, I personally get this, on my back left shoulder, I get this like tingling feeling.
Exactly.
Whenever my guide wants to speak with me. So some people feel it on their head or on their elbow or on their stomach or, whatever.
Right.
But the first thing that I suggest you do is sit down in a quiet space and say hello to your guide. You can ask them for their name and just allow whatever the first name is that comes to your mind. Names work on vibration. So even if you aren't able to really access what their actual name is, they're going to give you a name that you can access and that carries the same vibration.
Right.
And then you ask for the way in which they communicate to you. And then you let yourself feel that and become aware. And that way you can begin the conscious communication with your guide. Does all that make sense?
Oh, it does. It does. And, also I want to say, though, if perchance you don't necessarily hear a name or something, that doesn't mean that your guide's not there. Do you know?
No, absolutely. But one of the things, it all has to do, in the book, I give 2 or 3 different exercises that help you become more deeply aware of your environment. And I take you through the whole process, because oftentimes people will get information, but they don't think it's information. They immediately discount it. Well, my guide said his name is Mike. Mike is not my guide. I don't know a Mike. And Mike is stupid. Why would a guide why would he have a name called Mike?
Right. Wait, Mike, no, maybe it's Merlin,
Exactly. It was hilarious. One time I did a channeling class, and one of the guys in the class, his guide was Mother Mary. And he was like, well, clearly I don't deserve to have Mother Mary to guide me, so it can't be her. And we all laughed so hard because, we have all kinds of things that you don't even know you have until you start, calling upon, more spiritual or energetic information. You really see, insecurities that you have, or
right.
It's fascinating. So the goal is to start becoming aware on a deeper, more subtle level. Subtle means that it doesn't mean it's less powerful. It just means that you have to clear your mind of all of the conscious chatter that you have about the bills and about the relationship or about the job. You have to stop all of that chatter and really hear and learn to really listen. Like one of the exercises I give, and this is a deep one, because even for people like you and me who we are used to our other awarenesses, it's basically the exercise is you sit and you listen and you write down every sound that you hear in your environment. And believe it or not, most people have 5 to 10 different sounds in their environment that if you really listen, you're going to hear them, and you write them down. And then once you've written them down, you're like, oh my goodness, I heard that. You know what I mean? Like in the back, there are, church bells or the refrigerator buzzing or the ice maker, all of these things that we tune out.
Right.
We naturally start out being aware of these things, but what happens is in our daily life and other things, we tune them out.
Right.
So it's just about becoming aware again.
Right. And the other thing is too, whether you're, doing intuitive stuff, whether you're doing mediumship, whether it's just you want to be connected to your guides for guidance. The way that, we are spoken to through the soul and spirit is is kind of, it's kind of that gentle thing. Now, when you're first starting, your guides might come through a little bit stronger, but they really want you to learn to listen to that subtle voice, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You nailed that. That's exactly the case. And it takes time and choice and focus.
Exactly.
But you can't have any of those things if you fear it. The other thing I do want to say about guides is a guide will never tell you to hurt yourself or someone else.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're benevolent. And if you say, hey, look, I don't want you to bother me, they won't bother you. They will, they'll move to a safe distance and continue to protect you, but they're not going to integrate with you if you say you don't want them to.
Right.
And that's important.
Right. But you kind of, in all this work, you kind of hear people asking some crazy stuff of their guides, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's one of the things that I cover in the book is how do you discern between a malevolent critter and a benevolent being, and so that the main distinction is that a benevolent being will never ask you to do something that is harmful to yourself or anyone. They won't ever do that.
Right.
And
even if you ask.
Right. No, absolutely. They're gonna help you to get to the understanding of why you doing what you need to do in a beautiful way to not create karma, to not create, a further ripple from the situation. They're always going to guide you for balance and peace. And that doesn't include harming. There's always a way to get what you want and need without harming yourself or another person. There always is. And it's just a matter of focus. Some people didn't grow up with that. Some people grew up with the kind of thing.
Yes.
Some people they grew up with.
Sorry, we're being cut out here now by commercial break. So just hang on. You're live with Lisa Phoenix on the OMTimes Radio Network. My special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. You're live with Lisa Phoenix and my special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. Tracy, your kind of last thought was cut off there by the commercial. Did you?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Is it still with you?
Not so much.
That's okay. What I actually wanted to ask you though is, is there like something really memorable or your favorite part of the book or something that you could share with everybody?
You know what, every chapter is really so profound to me, most certainly, but all of my characters, I love all of my characters. I love them. And that's what I call them now, but they're either guides or past lives. But it's the parables. There are 10 of them, and it really, each one of my guides and in the past lives, I actually channeled the story, and I told the story from their perspective. And it was pretty powerful because it also contains a lot of history. And, there was a lot of history that came through that I didn't know. And so I had to learn a lot in the process of really understanding their story and to get it right. And so this also is a little bit of a historical chronicling of, one of the things that I deal with in the story is about things like racism and bigotry. Mm-hmm. How people are dealing with terrorism today. And these are all things that bring up a lot of fear for a lot of people. And so I literally address every one of those subjects in regards to each of the characters and their stories. And I really break down some ideas that I think might be a little surprising, shocking, for some people. And I really talk about how you can be empowered, in a world and in a culture that may not appear to have your best interest at heart. You know what I mean? That's something that all of us are really having to deal with is what if the world you live in, you don't feel has your best interest at heart? What do you do with that? And so, if I had a favorite part, it's my chapter 10, mm-hmm. and it's called everything. It's called Judgment Day, and
gotcha.
Its path is about everything will be reconciled. Everything will be reconciled. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, so that to me is the most integrating and kind of global thought. It's something that every single person has to deal with, and that I really address specifically the dynamics and how you can, focus on it in order to make you empower you in your daily life.
Gotcha. No, it sounds fascinating. And that's great because you take it sounds like, because I haven't read it yet, but it sounds like that you take it from the global to the individual, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I think that because I feel as though, especially right now with, all the energetic, shifts and this, that, a lot of people feel a little lost, don't you think?
Absolutely. Well, of course they do, because, we live in especially in America, but I think, I think that there are certain countries that don't feel a part of the global mass, and there are a lot of people here in America that don't feel part of the American culture, and they don't feel like they're loved and embraced for what they contribute, and then there are a lot of people who don't feel like they contribute anything because they don't understand how they contribute. And so this is, the goal is to bring the awareness of not only who you are and how you contribute to your small circle of people, but also how you contribute to the larger circle of people, and to let go of, our fantasies about having other people being better or worse, or our judgments against them because of who and what we think that they are, rather than really looking at who and what they are and looking at the deeper levels of the spiritual world.
Exactly.
It's so silly when you limit somebody to maybe their skin color or ethnicity. To me, that is the silliest thing in the world. It's silly. It makes zero sense whatsoever, because a person is so much richer than just their meager presentation. Their meager presentation by comparison to who they are as a spiritual being, and how you can understand them. And when you're willing to perceive people on a deeper level, you're going to see things and be more empowered, on every level.
Exactly.
And it also,
yes, go for it.
I was just going to say that the last thing is that, there are some people in the world who just aren't good people. And it's not because of their ethnicity or skin color. It is because of their nature and possibly their affliction. And so the only way you can truly protect yourself is to be able to be willing to look more deeply into each individual, energetically and emotionally. And yes, that's it.
No, I was just going to say, and I'm agreeing with you exactly, because the other thing is that, energetically, you're not drawn to people for their ethnicity, or I just said that wrong. Yeah. But you're drawn to them at a deeper level. So if you stop on the surface, you're missing kind of the whole purpose. You think?
Yeah, you miss so much information by limiting yourself and limiting them. You miss. And, and if you miss something, that does leave you open in certain situations. When you make assumptions about people, you don't really see who they are and what they're really capable of.
Exactly. And you do, in some senses too, you limit your own healing.
Absolutely. You absolutely limit yourself. I mean, people can be beneficial in ways that you don't even know because you've already discounted them.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm so grateful that you're kind of sharing all this stuff with everybody, and not just sharing it because people share it, but it really sounds like you're breaking it down, which I think is very, very much needed. Yes.
No, I agree. These are really, I call them, they're really meaty concepts broken down into bite-sized pieces.
No, it's what's needed, Yeah.
Absolutely.
So just tell me a few other little tidbits from your book that will interest people. Not that the whole thing will, I just mean.
Yeah. Let me, so hold on one second. So another character that I have, he's called the Raven, and it deals with the idea. He's a Navajo that was born in 1834.
Wow.
A Navajo Indian, and he is a medicine man and a tracker, but he also learns how to shapeshift. And so I address the concept of shape-shifting.
Wow.
And his guide is the Raven. And one of the things that in this chapter, I deal with emotional mastery and really helping people to deal with focus, commitment, illusion, delusion, and reality.
And we all need some of that.
Yeah, we do. It's the third thing that you need to know about to be a demon slayer, and it's demons are smart and stupid all at the same time. And so it really addresses how we make ourselves vulnerable through our emotionalism, and how the idea of it's not that we shouldn't be emotional. Of course we should be emotional, but we should take all that energy and use it to build ourselves rather than to target somebody. And so I talk a lot about the energy of anger, and how the energy of anger, and this is one of my favorite things, but when people get angry at a person, it targets that energy at them to destroy them, to hurt them in some way. When you feel your anger, it actually opens the heart and the throat, and it gives you a higher awareness of the Creator. It actually opens your denser vibrations of energy into your higher ones. It's actually a connector if you allow it to move through you and open you, as opposed to solidifying it and directing it at another person.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. Right.
And so I talk about the energy of guilt and the energy of fault. Because I think that, when you're in a bad situation or something bad happens, you want to find fault. with somebody. But if you really looked at fault, it's never got just one set of hands on it. Mm-hmm. And in fact, if you could do the what's the word I want? Not the chronology, but like the pedigree of a decision that led to a result that you want to blame on somebody. If you could go through and do the genealogy of that and how it came about, there'd be at least 1,000 hands on that decision about what somebody said, what they did, how it influenced another person, and what they said and what they did. Right there, at the end of a decision, when you get a result you don't like, there are 1,000 people on it, and you really can't blame anyone, including yourself.
Exactly. Now, Tracy, we're starting to run out of time here. Can you just go back over, how people can reach you, how people can donate? Can you just tell us all again? Because you saw all the way through the show. I'm like, well, I know you said this, but can you help us out?
I can. So you want to go to beaslayer.com and go to my Kickstarter and make a donation or buy the books or contribute in any way that you can. You can also share it with people you know who might be interested or know people who know people. And then tracydunblazer.com is how you can get a hold of me directly for a session.
Okay, great. Now, thank you so much, Tracy, for being on the show this morning. As I mentioned to all of you in Radioland, please visit Tracy's website at tracydunblazer.com. Thank you all for hanging out with us this morning. Please visit my website at lisaphoenix.net and sign up for my Intuitive Insights newsletter. And please like me on Facebook at Lisa Phoenix Live. Live with Lisa Phoenix is on every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Time. So please tune back in with us next week. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tracy, for being with us.
My pleasure.